Okay, so if I can have everyone's attention. So it's great that each group's going to be presenting something different, but I want you guys to gain something from it. So I've actually created a matrix that you all can fill out while the rest of the group is presenting, okay? So it's really important that you guys present all those different parts that I told you about, because you guys are going to be using this, you're going to be turning it in at the end of the day, okay?
It's important to play that when it's
Okay.
yeah, it takes 3 to 4 months to grow before they mature.
All right. So can we have the first group? I believe it's the citrus group. Start. Yes. Are you all ready? All right. So remember, you guys have 60 seconds, and your time starts now.
Ouch, Orange, you're being so bitter. You must be underripe. Oh, now you're being really sweet. You're starting to get ripe now. Orange, why are you so mushy? Are you overripe? You're starting to smell. I heard that if you pull off the bad fruits, they can help your tree to grow.
I'm a tree.
Alright, so, like they said, now those are all great points for the citrus fruit. So if you have an underripe fruit, it will be sour or bitter and unnecessarily green. Okay? A ripe fruit will be sweet and it should give a little when you squeeze. And then an overripe fruit will be soft and mushy, just like they said. Great points, guys. Alright, which group would like to go next? Groups, alright, go ahead.
So I brought some peaches today. And the first one is an underripe peach. And it's green and it's hard. How does that feel? Great. Yeah, not great. Not great. And the next one is going to be a ripe peach. And it's a little firm, but it's also kind of soft in some places, and it has a great smell. And it's red, as you can clearly see. And then my last one is an overripe peach, and there it goes on the floor. And it's totally squishy, and you can probably crush it if you wanted to. And it might look bruised or rotten. And then, so you should always do, if it looks rotten, just make sure there are no worms in it.
Alright, that was great. Now, I'm really proud of Margaret because she came up to me before class and she wanted to be challenged a little bit, so I offered her to do something using our senses and helping advance the class's sensory perception. So I really appreciate you giving the class something to touch and feel and see. So thank you very much. Alright, so can I have the next group, please? I think the melon said they want to go next.
Yay, yes we did. Okay. Okay, so we were a belly group and we had cantaloupe. So how do you like your cantaloupe? Do you like underripe? Do you like it ripe? Or do you like it overripe? So, just a couple of interesting facts. If it's underripe, it's going to be on the vine still. It's going to be hard and not sweet at all.
It takes 3 to 4 months for it to become sweet on the vine, then it matures.
And if it's ripe, it's going to be off the vine. It smells really, really sweet. It tastes so good. And then if it's overripe, it's going to look really not great.
And mushy and dented.
Yeah, it's going to be soft, mushy, and its color is going to be a little bit darker as well. And just a cool miscellaneous snacks. Cantaloupes are also called muskmelon.
Excellent, thank you so much. That was great. So one thing I wanted you all to add is underripe. A musky, kind of like they said, a muskmelon. Excuse me, do I have everyone's attention? So under ripe, you'll have a musky sweet smell with a ripe melon. And if it's immature, it'll be odorless. And think if there's no smell, then there's no flavor. So I thought that was a great job. All right. Can I have the next group, please? Who would like to go next? All right, we have these out.
Okay, so I have some pictures for the dragon fruit. It's when it's underripe, it's very firm. When it's ripe, you'll have a bright, even colored skin. And if you press your thumb into it, it should give a little. If it's overripe, it will have lots of blotches and has a very dry, brittle brown stem, or the tips of the leaves will be brown. And some interesting facts, it's actually a type of cactus, and it comes in 3 colors. So this is the red ones. And you can see they come in 2 colors. The outside will be red, the inside will be either red or white. And then the 3rd color it comes in is yellow with a white skin. And the texture or the taste of it is like a cross between a kiwi and a pear. So, that's it.
Great. Thank you, exotic group. Let's give it I like how she brought in a bunch. You absolutely can go, and while I'm discussing, you can go ahead and set up. So I like how she brought in a bunch of the flavor components. And although it's not necessarily a dragon fruit, another exotic fruit, which is a pomegranate, it's interesting. If you see that it's round, which pomegranates are expensive, so you're gonna make sure you get a ripe one. If it's round, it's actually not ripe. If you see that little square edges are starting to form on the pomegranate, that means that it's ripe. So you kind of want a little bit of a funky shape with your pomegranate. You don't want it perfectly round like a baseball. All right, you all set?
Okay, so I did pineapple, which is a tropical fruit. It is underripe when it's green. This is a climatic fruit, so when it comes off the vine, it's not going to ripen anymore. When it's ripe, it's golden yellow in color, and when it's overripe, it is soft and it's starting to rot. Watch out, because tropical fruit would have a frost tolerance. So what do you do with the pineapple? Well, you can live in it. SpongeBob does it. No, we want to cook in it. This is pineapple upside down cake, and it's my favorite. And also, don't buy overripe.
That's cute.
How did you do that? That was impressive.
All right, well.
And here's a recipe for pineapple upside down cake. If anybody wants it, you can ask me. I got it off of
Wow. This is sweet, almost as sweet as your presentation. All right, and last but not least, we have our apple of the day.
Oh, apple of the day. Apple of the day, stop your way, not really, but, okay. So, I just like drew an apple. I know it's a really bad drawing, but if you bear with me, so I broke it down into 3. It's not a peace sign. But, so I wrote a sad face for the underripe. Sorry, I can't really see. But I wrote in the underripe section that it's not quite to color yet for some plums, because they're plums. And it can be like really hard to touch, just like our peaches. And then most of them are gonna have a bitter flavor. And it's not going to be very juicy. And then for our ripe fruit, which is what we want, it's going to have reached its color. So for like a red apple, it's going to be nice and, you know, a thick red. Or like if you have a Macintosh, it's going to have the green and the red in it. And then it's going to be firm, but it's not going to be soft either. So it's kind of like right in between the underripe and ripe. And then it's going to have a semi-sweet flavor. And this also depends on the fruit because red apples are more bitter than some other apples. And then it's going to be somewhat juicy, especially for red apples. Okay, and then overripe, I have another sad face because we don't want overripe either. Sorry. It's going to possibly be darker in color, especially if it's been bruised. So, and then the inside is also going to be like mushy and a dark color as well. It's going to be very juicy for the most part, also depending on which fruit you have. And then it's going to have a very sweet and sometimes oxidized flavor.
Great, good job. Thank you very much. And Jackie covered all my points, so thank you. Lastly, I'm going to cover the grapes really quickly, so if you try and jot these down as well. Grapes will be small for their size if they're not ripe. If they're ripe, they'll actually look at the stalks. The stalk attached to the vine will be green and alive. And if you shake it and grapes fall off or the stalk's dead, then that means it's overripe. Okay, so I went ahead and handed you guys all a couple of rules of thumb. These are a couple of big ones. So you want them to be heavy for their size. You really don't want green unless it's supposed to be. So with a lime, you want a lime to be green. But you don't want to see green on your bananas. You want them to be firm but not hard. So you don't want it to be a rock, you want it to give a little bit. You want fresh stems and a sweet aroma. This might not apply for all of them, but these are good rules of thumb for fruit in general. Are there any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints?
That's a good.
No? These are my sources, and I'd like to thank you all for coming.